Ugandan LBQ Visibility Podcast, celebrating queer love, exploring life experiences, representing and busting queerness.
She said what she said.
Yani mama baba yao.
I had a dream, we were bold, wide and free. And see how I damn it and benga teddy bia busoso zemunange. Gakatonda ya tutonda nenjaulo.
So I'm Matilda. I'm a queer some enigma of an individual. I'm passionate, aggressive, and flawsome with very many complexities. Oh, yeah.
I'm Marisa, a weird queer who loves to love. I love animals. I love to work hard and play hard.
And I am Melody, a travel addict all the way from the land of the East. I love sports, I love cooking.
And I am Sasha, a chubby sweetheart who loves cooking. She's also very kind, generous. Yes, and just showed.
Oh,
yeah.
And this is Amor. I'm a DJ. I love to dance. I love to be happy. I'm a stressy bassy at times, but I'm still Amor. So welcome to We Are Together.
And hi, it's Biggie, a lover of women, passionate about women's rights. And before I am a lesbian, I am a housewife part of this podcast.
I'm Lucas, a documentary photographer. I love women. Yes, I love luwombo, binyewa with meat in the luwombo, plus a little Irish. Yeah, I like my shit weird. Like I enjoy it like that.
Yeah, and we are so glad to be on this podcast. To me, it means an opportunity to talk to you, to love you, to care for you, and show you all my action.
To me, it's about putting my bisexual visibility out there for you to know who I am and also know that I rejoice in this bisexuality.
For me to share the life of LBQ women, the myths and misconceptions out there for all the world to know.
For me, it's about fighting my fears of being in the closet and knowing that there is more life than being closed up. Just like Marisa said, I'm also fighting my fear to be in the closet. Also, I want the world to know that LGBTQ women are just like any other person.
I just want to encourage everyone about our experience, through our experiences, and also learn from each other and, make a difference in one's life.
Yeah, just like Melody, I feel this is a reflection of our life experiences and fosters dialogues about lived realities of lesbian women in Uganda. And I think it really provokes much needed conversations in our queer communities. And I hope these conversations will inspire and influence and challenge different stereotypes about our lesbian queer communities.
I had a dream, we were bold, wide and free. And see how I damn it and benga teddy bia busoso zemunange. Gakatonda ya tutonda nenjaulo. Chovola ba, we are all different. But there was no judging, there was no criticism at any corner. Welcome to my world. To my world full of dreams everywhere up and down. Everybody feeling free. Welcome to my world.
I am curious to know, how did you get into the community? Personally, I was invited to a birthday party by a friend that I had met on Facebook. I had a fresh heartbreak, so I was looking for friends. And so this friend invites me to a party. We go to that party and I was so happy to be among fellow women. Like, I just felt so safe because, I had this misconception that women don't rape. So, and that is one of my biggest fears. So I felt so safe, and then the attention I got, little did I know that when you're new, you get too much attention.
Fresh meat.
Totally.
Fresh kappa.
So you said you had just broken up. Was it like a girl on girl or? Yes. Yes, I had just broken up with my girlfriend. Yeah. So before then you weren't in the community? No, I wasn't. Both of us weren't. So both of us weren't in the community, but she later on got lesbian friends, but she didn't want me to meet them and she didn't want me to have other friends. So when we broke up, my way of healing was making sure I do all the things she hadn't wanted me to do. So I went and created a pseudo account, a pseudo Facebook account, and I started getting all these friend requests from lesbian. Yeah. Okay, that's true.
How did I first do this? Or join the community? Actually, I think I first came to Farrokh before I joined blog. Or I first joined blog. I don't recall. My memory is blurry. But all I know is I was looking for a partner. Not partner. I was looking for food, which is wrong. But I was looking a meal. A sexual meal. I was hunting. But unfortunately, when I reached, I just felt safe and happy because I got to know that I am not the only weirdo out there. Though my aggression, as usual, has been thrown on the edge. But it felt good seeing all these wonderful women just be free and love each other. Like, I didn't even worry about the fact that I want to make out with a person because I made out with a stranger. So it was, to me, it was security. It felt so good. So yeah.
Let me see. I had a friend and they were going to some party, so they were like, "You wanna join?" I'm like, yeah, why not? So when we got there, it was a blog party. I don't know if you guys know about blog.
Mm-hmm.
And there was these people. I remember there was someone wearing a strap on. I looked and I was so scared.
That must have been Farrokh's end of year. Must have been Farrokh's end of year party where we gave out dildos and other accessories. They were new to the community, so very few people knew about the availability of the dildos, the dams, the sex toys that were available. So people were so crazy that they were putting them on.
Oh boy, I'd never seen like a sex toy like in real life, maybe in movies. So I was so like, man, this is my crowd. So from there, I think we went to some bar, Tikozi bar. It was like a gay bar, and it's like I'll be like, is she also? Like, yes. I'm like, God damn.
So you said something that jogged my memory. When I went to the party, I kept looking at women and thinking, so this one is also a lesbian. Oh my goodness. So even the other one is a lesbian. Everyone who came up would be like, I wonder if she's lesbian or straight. And then it turns out they were both lesbians.
Yeah, there's that confusion, huh?
It takes me back to that time. I would look at women and be like, do you think she would love me? Would she love me? Would she love me? Like, I had this whole thing, an insecurity of the fact that I really wanted someone that was exactly what I wanted. So when I would see all these awesome lesbians, I'd be like, oh, would that one love me? Oh, would that one love me? Oh, would that one love me? But, oh well, I ended up getting nothing. But that thought was actually sweet enough.
Before the community, obviously there's those attachments we have. I had an ex-girlfriend now that introduced me to actually Farrokh, and it was a very new experience because out there you think you're the only ones or it's just you, and then you meet other people that are like you, and then you're all like, oh wow, it's actually a very big community.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I am here, but in a relationship. I can't do shit, man. Like, you can't do shit, and there's lots of choices to probably see and take. But anyway, by then I was in a serious relationship, and it was amazing.
Was it with a guy or a chick?
Obviously a chick.
So I'm like hearing all these amazing stories of how people join the community, and I'm like blown away because it feels like it has been a journey. But personally for me, I have just started my journey because I recently joined the community. And probably I've been in the closet for so long. I don't know, because I'm just trying to figure myself out. But yeah, it's an amazing journey. It feels good to know that you give this other part of you like time to breathe and come out. And I'm just glad that I met like this amazing community and the networks in Uganda with all the homophobia in this country. Like, it feels so good to belong to a community where you like just bring out all your frustrations about the homophobia in the country.
Tell us, why you're bisexual, why you're curious.
Okay, I am, like I introduced myself, I am a weird queer because I have actually dated guys for all this time, but in the background I like women. Like, where you feel like you like women but you don't understand the kind of like you think it's just normal liking, and then but you like drawn to women, you fantasize about women having sex and like all this until you meet the one person who blows your brains away, and then you're like, okay, I'm actually into women.
So whole time you were fighting about, were you also looking up lesbian porn?
Yes, and I would Google all these lesbian communities and all these lesbian groups, and I actually even joined a lesbian group on Facebook that is in Botswana because I didn't know like of any lesbian groups in Uganda, and there was this. I was in this group, and there was this woman in Botswana who like really liked me, and like I always had this. I didn't, like I had mixed feelings about her because like talking to her excited me, but then like I held back. I didn't really know what was happening, but like I always did a lot of Googling about lesbians and lesbian communities, and yeah.
By the way, during that time when I actually joined the community, I liked every lesbian group in this world. Every lesbian group in this world. That time I wanted it all, like so much. So I understand that part. Because I joined Manya Sijui South Africans, Manya our own blog. I joined many in search of just that acceptance of, you know what, someone is in my footsteps. So I get that part.
I think I'm starting to suspect that all of us have been in groups that are out of this country. I was even, I think, in a long distance relationship with a woman from Rwanda.
But you see, that's what happens because we, like Biggie said, even these groups that started probably were not known to many people. And then there was like all these people that were in closets, and then also being a homophobic country. So we that's so funny is that you might find most of us didn't even Google lesbians in Uganda, because like in Uganda it was like a crime, like you don't think that any lesbian actually exists in Uganda. So we were like joining groups of like South Africa, like all these other countries, because we thought those are the countries where it's allowed, but Uganda, like no one, like you're the only one. So
also,
it makes sense.
It was also safer to interact with lesbians from other countries
than
risking finding someone who knows you in a group. So you'd rather talk to someone in Zimbabwe, very well knowing the chances of them knowing you are very low compared to running into an orgy. Oh God.
No, but also all the lesbian groups that were Ugandan were actually not real lesbians. They were men, men trying to get women. And then you would chat and you think you're chatting with a woman, yet it's like a very, very typical Ugandan man making fun of you somewhere with his friends.
Yeah, that's true. There are so many groups during that period of time, even given the fact that internet was not essential to Ugandans. There are so many males that started groups of in this guise of lesbian groups wanting to get women, because there was a notion that so many Ugandans wanted to have sex with lesbian women. And we talked about the group law. It had both male and female, had bisexuals and then LGBT gender, of which some of the males in those groups were not gay, but were in groups to have to feast on available lesbians when high. So yeah, I'm not surprised that there were groups that were male but then disguised to be lesbians.
It reminds me of the time when someone hacked into a celebrity's account, I think, female celebrity account, and then they were sending me inboxes. Pandang was like, hey, this chick likes me. They even sent me like porn, but I was really scared to like send back. I'm like, but so everyone did whatever they had to do to like
find someone who's like them.
Yeah.
I remember dating online against as a woman. We dated and did all those dirty things you do when you're talking. And then one day we were supposed to meet, and he asked me to meet him at National Theatre. So because I was using a pseudo account, I expected that he was doing the same. So before meeting him, I was like, so what is your real name? I texted him and asked him his real name. And he was like, how did you know it wasn't my name? I'm like, I just know. And then he was like, I'm called Mark.
It was a total turn off.
I know, I didn't even show up.
It's high time nikuteke moniteke. Nimetaka mlami sana limebidi nitete. Bora roho imependa buda nimpende na asitete. Hii dunia ni ujipende mutapigwa mateke. I know you're somewhere feeling like this. Hata kuwekelea mabudu unaweza pendwa kabisa. Na wakikudis usiwa please.
I am glad everyone is talking about their first encounter as Farouk. And actually I was there when Farouk was formed. But then how was I introduced in the community? being in my small space at home and my sisters, I was dating, of course. But I thought I was the only one who was weird, just like any other person here. But then I was introduced to some DJ in Kampala here who started up a bar. And so I wanted to go to the bar to see the other persons like me. Little did I know that I would find so many people like me. That's how I joined the movement. I started seeing so many of the people like me, people that I least expected to be of the same characters like mine, because before I thought I had a problem, which was could have been a curse within the family.
At what point did you know who you are? And knowing who you are, did you exactly know who you are? Maybe straight, maybe bi-curious, maybe bisexual? How did you come out to yourself?
So I was 7 and I had a crush on my best friend, whom we split with after growing up, after coming out too. I came out to her. Actually, I had a crush on her while I was still young, around 7. But then I didn't know what was happening. We used to love dearly. We used to dearly love each other, hug all the time, look after each other, care, extra care for each other. But then to come, how did I know that I'm a lesbian? I was 14 years when I checked out in the dictionary the meaning of lesbian, and so I realized I'm a lesbian. Lesbian is a woman who loves a fellow woman, and yet I was a Christian, So that's the time I got to know who I am at 14.
You were a Christian, Catholic?
Catholic.
Wow.
Catholic. And then I got to know that my affections, feelings are for women, and that's how I got to know who I was.
On your journey, as you discovered yourself, did you have maybe any struggles? How did you actually reconcile your sexuality with the Catholic religion?
Born Catholic, mother, father. Actually, my grandparents got wedded in Rome, so that's how staunch our family was. But coming out to myself, it took me almost 1 year praying and fasting to God to forgive me. After reading some book called, there was this book that was circulating that was talking about delivered from the powers of the devil. So in that book had a chapter that talks about people who love same-sex, that they're going to the left-hand wing of hell. This book described all sorts of wings within hell. And so one of the wings had a section for persons who love same-sex. And so I started fasting and praying to God to forgive me for whatever I do not forgive me, so that I be straight just like any other person. But didn't work out. So I came out to myself, accepted myself after realizing that even with prayers, I cannot change myself. So I started accepting myself. I started, although I loved in the closet. I've never been in the closet, but I loved in the closet. Our relationship was in the closet. So I continued feeling the way I wanted to feel. I stopped disturbing God to forgive me for nothing. I loved myself the more. I loved people who are like me. And so that's how I started looking for, when I got to know of a DJ in Kampala who was like me, and she had opened up a bar. I went to that bar to meet her. So wanting to meet her, I met other people like me, and that's how I came out to myself, and I was comfortable with myself. Since then, I continued my journey of loving and accepting of people like me.
You're actually one of the founding members of Farouk.
Yep.
Please enlighten us about that journey. Most of us are members in Farouk, but we don't even know our history. We don't appreciate it enough.
When I went to the bar, I met other persons like me. So in that particular bar, there was a spot a room called Smoochies. A bit dark, but a few of my colleagues who are there, whom I found there, the DJ, Victor and Kasha, started discussing about formalizing the group, formalizing us. And so a few of other friends of mine joined them, but unfortunately I couldn't join the formation because I was still a student, and it wasn't so important then to be part of formal organizing.
How old were you then?
how old was I? I think I was around, must have been 17, 18 years old then. Yeah. So that's how they started organizing. While they were organizing for Farouk, I was playing pool, because all I did was to come to the bar, meet people like me, have fun, drink away, and then go back, So they started forming Farouk and meeting different people, and so that was the birth of Farouk.
So it was the birth of Farouk also the birth of the LGBT movement in this country?
Almost, because there was already some groups of men organizing socially, not formally. So there was a group at the university that said they had a university, a LGBT university, and there were so many different groups within, but not formal. And so for the formation of the movement, I think started with Farouk's, because Farouk was formed in 2003, and then the network started after it started in 24, and then the others came in. Then Spectrum came in, other organizations started formalizing their social engagement.
Yes, talking about the founders, can you at least give us those that you can, who are okay with being mentioned, and then you tell us maybe their names so that we know them, so that we can be inspired by them?
The founders were 3. That's one DJ. Number 2 was Kasha Jacqueline Nabagesera. Number 3 was Victor Mkasa. And then those were the founders. Then we had founding members. There was Diana Bakrela, there was Pepe Julia Nonzima. So those were some of the founding members on top of the 3 founders.
So Biggie, were you guys crushing on each other like we're crushing on you guys like this generation?
Unfortunately, then my attraction has always been to feminine presenting women. Most of us all the names that I've mentioned, all of them are masculine presenting women, but I am not sure of their preferences. As for Biggie, my preference has always been feminine presenting women.
Sexy girl then.
Exactly.
I know you're somewhere feeling like this. Hatakuwekelea mabono neza pendo kabisa. Na wakikudis, usiwa please. Mpatie kiss, vile unajis. Basi si tupendane. Achicho dimpolzeke software. Mapenzi ni mapenzi. Yani mama baba ya.
Welcome to my world. To my world full of dreams everywhere up and down. Everybody feeling free. Welcome to my world. My world full of dreams everywhere up and down. Everybody feeling free. So Africa, Europe, America. Everywhere that you go, Arabica, Australia, go Asia. Everywhere that you go.
Do you all know that we've been giving this several stories about exactly how we join different groups, how we fell for online stuff and men and all that stuff. But you know that at the back of that all has been the fact that we have been looking for acceptance and understanding and belonging in all senses. Most of us joined those groups because we wanted to know that there's a person who's having the same relationship issues I'm having, like another person. Wanted to know that there's this person making me feel safe. They are women, so we can't say anything. It's unfiltered. There's one time I asked, what is the difference between having a relationship with in the heteronormative and also being an LGBTI? And then someone told me with a fellow woman, there's comfort and non-pretense. And that shows that we've all been doing this, and behind it, we don't forget, but we may not know, it's been about acceptance. It actually makes me feel like we're all in the same boat, and that's cute.
So, you just talked about being in a relationship. One of the advantages of being in a lesbian relationship is comfort, and I thought of something. So I think we want that because in this very heteronormative world that is patriarchal, women are taught to do a lot for men. So when you're in a relationship with a woman, you know that you don't have to do do too much for that other woman to accept you. Unlike in a heteronormative relationship where you have to do extra for the man to even say you are worth his time.
Although all of us look for acceptance, and the fact that within lesbian relationships or woman-to-woman relationships, you love someone because it's deep. I don't know how to even explain it. It's so deep that you know all the valleys, the mountains, the rivers, the oceans, the birds, the animals within that world of a woman as a woman. So the attachment is quite stronger, and unlike in the heterosexual relationship.
But then also, like how I said, I was dating guys for all these years with all these mixed feelings. But then, like at the back of your mind, like you find women attractive. So when I finally got into a relationship with like a woman, it was amazing because you don't have to, like I feel like I was under a lot of pressure while I was dating men, because our Ugandan men, they want
water.
Exactly. They want like waters, they want like it's so frustrating, like there's so much stress. But when you start dating a woman, it is like she knows you, you know her, like you understand each other's body, and so amazing. So
add on that, I feel like with a woman-to-woman relationship, you understand yourselves better. The quality, the things that you go through are more like the same. And then with men, you always have to look for acceptance. You always have to prove yourself. You always have to prove a point, and they are always focused on satisfying them. And then you always have to make sure you have to prove yourself to a point that you lose yourself in the relationship trying to please someone, and that sucks.
Like you're not allowed to be imperfect. Like your imperfect days are the worst days of his life.
We forget that we've all gone through different experiences. Different women have gone through different experiences of relationships. You are familiarizing with a fellow woman because that's your comfort, that's your orientation, that is where your love is flowing. But people who have been lucky enough and go through those same heteronormative relationships have also been able to find people who can see their valleys, who can see their curves. As much as we also see the evil or the negativity towards us, at the same time we've also seen that we've also worked hard. I have been in a relationship where I've worked twice as hard with a woman to just connect with them. These things vary. The same way you may be actually seeking comfort with a fellow human, another person is actually seeking comfort with also a guy. So this actually brings us to the orientation, the bisexuals, the lesbians. Everyone finds their comfort where it is. You're either unlucky or lucky towards who you love, if they're actually giving you the whole world or not. Or
okay, Tilda, that's your point. But also from my experience as a bisexual, I feel like in comparison to being in a relationship with a man and being in a relationship with a woman, it's easier with a woman because a woman understands you and you do not have to have validation, or you don't always have to prove a point of being.
You know what? I wish I had listened to such podcasts way back when I was still trying to figure myself out, because I feel like the podcasts are very, very nice for people who are there and are lost and are trying to discover themselves, and this whole thing is just blowing me away right now.
I also agree with Melody. When you're with a woman, it is so much easier. I'm a bisexual myself and I have dated both men and women, and it is so much easier with a woman also because they are not going to judge you for not knowing how to cook, or because when you cooked food it got bad. They are not going to call a family meeting and start telling them about how you wake up late and do not make for them breakfast. So really,
we are going to disagree.
We are going to disagree.
Obviously.
Thank you so much. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. All together we've been.
She
said what she said.